Do you have something to say? Have you ever thought about doing a podcast but felt overwhelmed with all the choices out there? Or like me, you have a budget and cannot afford the annual fees? Here's what I want you to do. Go to your Play Store and look for Anchor. Anchor is a free podcast app where you too can start your own podcast for free. And yes, it does work because I too am using Anchor. If you're listening to my voice, you have Anchor to thank. You can do everything right from your cell phone. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You'll be glad you did. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you would like to be a guest on the show and share your story, please email me at lostinside.info@gmail.com and put guest requests in the subject line. That's lostinside.info@gmail.com and put guest requests in the subject line. I'll talk to you soon. If you need to talk, I always say don't keep things inside. Talk to someone, anyone. If you cannot find someone near you, I'm always willing to listen. You can always email me anytime at lostinside.info@gmail.com. Let's talk about it. If you would like to support the show, please visit my website at lostinside.info. There you will find links to my Patreon, merchandise, and free ebooks of Lost Inside and Let It Be. I appreciate any help you can provide. Together we can end the stigma. Hello, this is Max Power, and you are listening to another episode of Lost Inside, the podcast. Today's episode is it's kind of hard on me because the emotions that two simple questions: Are you okay? Or how are you doing? They're simple questions, right? But they come with very, very, very complicated answers. Normally, when somebody asks these questions, it's you'll get a response right away. I'm doing good. Everything's fine. Or a more detailed answer of what's been going on in your life. But when you're living with anxiety, social anxiety, depression, bipolar, things of this nature, when those questions are asked, our mind starts going in 1,000 different directions with 1,000 different answers. Does this person really want to know what's going on? Do I really tell them? Do I want to hide it? Do I want to open myself up for a conversation? Am I really crying out for help, but they're not going to listen? So when you ask the question of how are you doing, or are you okay, and you get a delayed response, something that doesn't happen right away, then the response you're going to get is, I'm fine. Now, I'm fine is the biggest lie ever told. We tell it to ourselves, we tell it to others. It's just a blanket. It's a blanket answer that we give that is very, very, very detailed in the aspect of what it means. But when we say I'm fine, it usually tells the other person, stop asking questions, they're okay, nothing's wrong. So that later on when somebody's like, well, did anybody check on this person? Oh, I asked them how they were doing and they said that they were fine. I'm fine never means I'm okay, or I'm doing well, or I'm good. Because if those were the actual things of how we were feeling, we would actually say those things. I'm fine means I need help. To the point where I have I'm fine tattooed underneath my my semicolon tattoo, my 4-point star semicolon Joker tattoo that I have. So underneath it, when you look at my tattoo, it says I'm fine in cursive letters. And it just looks like it's a little wild and crazy cursive letters. But really, when I look at it, it doesn't say I'm fine. From my point of view, it says save me. And this is the upside down thing that I'm talking about, that when somebody says I'm fine, if you flip it over, they're really asking for help. It's something to think about. And I'm going to take a short, quick break, and then we'll come back and dive more into detail of what I'm fine means. We'll break down fine in a couple of different definitions. And I'm going to go over a couple of memes that they hit hard to me because they are so honest and truthful, and which is what made this episode hard for me to make. I've been putting it off until today that I have to post this. So I'm going to be scrambling trying to get this done, and I hope you will bear with me. Okay, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Lost Inside the podcast. I am your host, Max Power. So, I'm going to talk about a couple of memes that we pretty much all seen them. Going to try to explain what they are. They have deeper meaning. For me, I personally believe laughter is the best medicine. It's something that my grandmother used to say. I used to listen to her because she was a nurse, so she should know better, and she was my grandmother. So one of the first memes, I'm always masking my pain with laughter. There's a psalm, and I can't remember the exact verse and where it's at, but it says, even a smile can hide a broken heart. And all my life growing up, I've known that to be true. So I joke around to do two things. One, it masks my pain. It'll keep people from asking me, are you okay, or how are you doing? I just figure if I can deflect and make somebody else laugh, laughter can be contagious, and hopefully if they're laughing, I will laugh and I'll feel at least a little bit better at the time. But one of the memes that I've seen floating around says, I joke about killing myself far too much for someone who actually tried to kill themselves. And throughout my life, I've attempted this 4 times. I've been close numerous times to making it a 5th, but I haven't gotten that far yet. It's a real struggle, and it's a real fight to not do that. Something else, another one is stop asking if I'm okay. I'm tired of lying. And that's where the, if I hesitate, if I don't answer right away, and then I say I'm fine, that's the lying part. It's not something that we like to do, but again, it's you can consider it a survival technique, survival method. It's something that we say and do when we're trying to avoid that conversation, We're screaming out for help silently, but we don't know how to ask for that help. We are afraid to ask for that help. And the reason why we're afraid is because there's so much negative stigma, and we know this. And it comes from everywhere. It even comes from ourselves. There's negative stigma from psychologists who are supposed to be helping us. There's negative stigma from everywhere. And that's just one of the things that goes through our minds that scares us. Because another meme defines fine as F, I'm fucked up. I'm insane. N, I'm neurotic. And E, I'm emotional. So when we say I'm fine, it's saying that I'm a fucked up, insane, neurotic, emotional person. And I use person as being polite. Some of the words that we will use to describe ourselves is a lot worse. Monster comes to mind, demon, and these will be reasons to talk about in further podcasts. This podcast is going to be kind of short because it is so hard on me, and it is spiking my anxiety just talking about this part. But that's the thing that I have to do. I have to force myself to do this so that I can get it out, and maybe others can listen and want to speak out as well. I'm sorry. It's just something that doing this by myself is very, very hard for me. And I'm trying the best that I can, because I'm not fine. We're not fine. And every time we say that we're fine, we know it's a lie. It's our defense mechanism. It's our shield that we put up, and hopefully we're hoping that either those who care enough to see past the words of I'm fine will recognize that we need help and will push further, or on the flip side of that, we say I'm fine and in hopes that somebody will go away and not ask those questions any further, because it's just making us feel much, much worse. So I promise that we'll discuss this in depth. If I have a guest that we can talk about this, where I can bounce it off back and forth, that would be really good. This way it's not just all me, and my anxiety is not just fighting me as it is right now, because I did not want to really make this podcast, but it's something that needed to be done. That it's a question I get asked all the time on a daily basis. Are you okay? How are you doing? And I don't know how to answer that. I can't answer that. So the only thing I say is, I'm fine. And when people read my tattoo, they read, I'm fine, and they don't even ask. So this is one of my hardest things that I've ever had to do. One of the hardest things I've ever had to explain. So I apologize to you, the listener, because I know this is not a typical podcast length. I know it's going to be under 30 minutes. It might not even be 15 or 20 minutes. But it's something that I'm going to have to work on. Again, there's more to this than the just I'm fine part, and the monster of who I am and how I see myself. These will be other episodes that we will try to dive in deeper with, and hopefully I can get some guests. Some of you will be willing to talk with me, and that way I'm not alone in doing this. So until next time, this is Max Power. Have a great day. Lost Inside is written and produced by me, Max Power. The music used in the show is from the song How Do You Do by Palais Royale, a band that has helped my daughter to deal with her mental health afflictions. I do not own the rights to any of the music used here. Thank you for listening, and until next time, to quote two wise dudes, be excellent to each other and party on.